Travel Tours. Notnilc Virtual Travel Tour. Mad as a guide cannot be bested. Now you won't have to be arrested. So grab your bag, but you'll never leave the house. Discover the world, is it round or flat? Perhaps it's a trapezoid. Wait, it might be hollow. Notnilc Travel Tours. 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 Notnilc Travel Tours.
Hey guys, it's Matt, and welcome back, Notnilc Travel Tourists, for another exciting virtual trip to a place around the world we have not yet visited. Today's trip, Patagonia. Took me 40 years to understand what the hell that even was, a region shared by both Chile and Argentina. But remember, we travel virtually at Notnilc Travel Tours because our chances of being arrested are very low. They're not zero. They're very low if we travel virtually. Where if we actually went to these places, our chances of being arrested go to 80 to 90%, depending on where in the world we'd be traveling to. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but those who investigate how the world works and are getting to the bottom of things aren't exactly considered the most favorable group to what we call Notnilc. Trust me, a virtual tour to Patagonia is much better. You don't want to be coming down the south face of the Andes Mountains when the black helicopters come in to take us away. So I'm an American citizen. That doesn't work if we travel internationally. Unless you're really eager to go into a Siberian gulag, we'll continue to travel virtually. Now, one of the reasons I'm so interested in Patagonia is not just for Notnilc Travel Tours. I pushed it up the list a bit because it's also a possibility for a Notnilc free zone. If we can ever get down to brass tacks with Notnilc and say, do you want us to stop making videos? Do you want us to stop waking people up? Maybe we have done enough. If people are going to be on the ship of fools and order another drink from Isaac, there's nothing we can typically do about it. If the Notnilc would eventually someday offer us several thousand acres somewhere around the world, we're willing to come to the table to negotiate. And this area, Patagonia, which is shared by both Chile and Argentina, might be the perfect place for Notnilc free zone, because especially on the Argentina side, the Argentine side or teen side, I don't know how to say it. We just going to live there. We have to talk about it. It's much more sparse. I understand, especially this part called the Patagonian Desert. There's a chance we could get 1,000 David Koresh acres out there, and the Notnilc would truly leave us alone. Now, on the Chilean side, they get much more precipitation. See, these Andes Mountains, you know where that plane crashed, that stupid soccer team, and most people through think that's fake. They ate themselves. Yeah, we don't believe any of that horse shit anymore. We're not. Are we going to find the plane crash site? Probably. Okay, it's a virtual tour. It ain't going to be too tough to hike the mountain. It's a virtual tour. Might as well see where they ate themselves. See, that's the Andes Mountains, the very tip between Argentina and Chile. That's how they separate one country from the other, because no Sherpa ever made it over the mountain. I'm not joking. That's how they separate the countries. See, but the huge mountains block a lot of the precipitatory clouds, if that's a word, and the precipitation can't get to the eastern side. Here it is. See, this is the precipitation map. All those mother effers in Chile, they're living large. They don't have no problem watering their plants. But on the right side, a large part of Argentina, that's like when Ronnie said me and Wang just bought land on the one side of the Great Wall on the good side. The good side's the Chile side, not the Argentina side. But that's the only thing we could hope to. Argentina side. Don't cry for me. That's the only place we can hope to get Notnilc free zone. That's the only place. Did you think we were going to get 20 acres downtown in Santiago, Chile? Did you think we were going to get 10 square blocks in Buenos Aires? No. We're going to be... But here's the good news, okay? I don't want to turn this into a Notnilc free zone discussion. We have a lot of virtual touring to do. There's a lot of beautiful, clean lakes, rivers, water comes down the Andes. And even though it doesn't get no precipitation, if we will Notnilc Free Zone give access to some of this beautiful fresh water that comes off the Andes, that's our water source. You can bathe in it, you can swim in it, you can drink it. Okay, look at this. This excites you like it excites me. That's what I'm talking about. The water coming off the Andes Mountains in the summer is crystal clear, clean, and it's cold, of course. And if Notnilc Free Zone offers us land that's too far south, as is depicted in this picture, there's glaciers and shit. So take back the swimming part, but it's still clean water. It doesn't matter if they put us in a place that's considered desert or very arid. We will still be able to get our drinking water as it melts off the Andes, use it for irrigation or whatever we want to do before we start fighting with ourselves in Notnilc Free Zone after the second week and we all start hating each other, living in close quarters. But nevertheless, I'm willing to take that chance. I'm willing to go out there with you. If Notnilc, listening to me, can finally offer us the goddamn land. Okay, this picture proves what I was saying about certain parts of Argentina. If they give us that, and it's too far from the Andes and the snow caps, it's a hellhole. They're going to offer us that and 2 pickup trucks. There's not a blade of grass that's edible and no rain for 9 months at a time. This is called the Rio Negro. Can you say that? No, just means Black River. I guess that's still okay to say in 2025. The Rio Negro province in Argentina is part of the Argentina eastern side high desert. And as I was saying, you get too far from the melting snow caps, hell hole. They can give us those 2 pickup trucks. Where are we going to fill them up? I don't see no gas station. We got to be very careful if this turns into a Notnilc Free Zone negotiation. Okay, guys, 1 minute or less of hardcore learning, just in case this video shortly goes to nonsense, and I'm sure that's where it's going. At least you can get something out of it. If Notnilc doesn't deliver its usual reality breakdowns and my jokes don't work. Patagonia, in the simplest of sense, is simply the southern tip of South America. It's simply a region without any exact defined borders. It's a region named from the Patagon Native American. I almost said the Patagon Native Americans. Every indigenous to Matt's a Native American. No, the Patagon tribe are the sons of bitches that interacted with Magellan and those white colonial villains. We'll see what happened there. We'll do that together in a few minutes. There's no defined borders. There was no Chile when Magellan and his villains sailed through the Strait of Magellan. There was no Argentina. There was no cry for me. He just declared himself. He says, I declare this entire region Patagonia. The way Rodney Dangerfield said, I dedicate this building to myself. And he threw the dirt on Dr. I forget. It was Sally Kellerman's boyfriend, that nerdy guy that taught the business class. It's just a region. There's no even defined border. Even look at the map, northern Patagonia, and it just is question marks. Even the people that did the maps don't know. From what I've researched so far, and we'll get back to having fun in just a moment, there's a Colorado. They have their own Colorado River, just like we do. People in Australia are scratching their heads. We got that? There's a Colorado River that kind of runs east to west, or I guess in this case, coming off the Andes Mountains, it would run west to east, starting in Chile towards the Atlantic Ocean. That is considered by most to be the northernmost border of Patagonia. Matt, all this is, who cares about all this? We didn't come here to learn anything. Get back to your regularly scheduled horse shit. Okay, this is Santa Cruz province, the southern tip of Argentina, Patagonia. Very dry, very arid. The landmass is absolutely huge. It looks to be the size of Texas. It's absolutely gigantic. And I'm sorry to come back to Notnilc Free Zone again, but that's kind of where this video is going. Like, who's this dude there with the farm? Look at all the land he got. Whether he owns it or not, he has access to all that land. He don't need all that. What, they got llamas? Yeah, we're not saying that Notnilc has to kick that guy off his land and we'll take over the barns and stuff. Just look at the thousands and thousands of acres. We just need some sort of river coming from the Andes with clean water. That's all we ask. That, and to be left alone. We're not saying we want you to throw this person off his llama farm, but look, give us the 4,000 acres behind this son of a beach. But also in the Santa Cruz province, I found our dream location. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Mount Fitzroy. Fitzroy or Fitzroy. It's in Argentina. It's just on the other side of the Andes. It's also in Santa Cruz province, but it's close enough to the Andes to get all this water, lakes, rivers. This is what I'm talking about right here, Notnilc. Okay, I'm ready to get down. I'm serious. I'm reciteer this time. We'll get to the negotiating table. We'll all pledge to not make no more videos. We'll all pledge not to try to wake anybody up. Matt, it don't care about us. I know. It made us the boy and girl that cried wolf a long time. It's not worried in any way about us, but just, I don't know. Maybe we'll have something that breaks through at some point using AI tools. We'll have something that breaks through and really wakes up a few million people. This doesn't cost you anything. You have control over the land masses of the entire world. It's not like you're giving anything up. There's nobody there anyway. I mean, it's not costing you anything to give us 1,000 acres in this spot. It's a little cold there, guys. It looks like there's only about a couple weeks a year we can get it in that river. It's a little chilly. I'm willing to put up with that, to be left alone, if you are. The Notnilc doesn't give anything up. It owns all this. That's where it sent Hitler after World War II. Where do you think Hitler went? We could actually occupy his cabins and shit. This is what I'm talking about right here. Notnilc, give it to us. Okay, guys, this is getting better by the minute. They call this, the province of Santa Cruz's coat of arms. I don't like those terms, but it's all natural elements. It's not the coat of arms you'd find in France or in the UK or for the Rothensteiners with their double-headed chicken and whatever that double-headed chicken is, or the lion on the side with its stupid paws up in the air. That king and queen coat of arms horse shit. These are natural elements. The province of Santa Cruz needs something to put on a flag. It needs something to put on a coin or on a cowboy's belt buckle. These are natural elements. I just looked into it. This is the mountain. I forget the name of it, but it's sacred to the indigenous people there. That's the Southern Cross. Just because Notnilc has their own 6 stars and astrology that they worship doesn't mean the stars are an evil thing. The stars are a natural thing. The Southern Cross, the way it's depicted here, is a natural thing. The sun is a natural thing. Oh, there's sun worship. That's not for them. It's for us too. These are natural elements. And I know a king or a prince wears that wreath thing on their head, or you know what I mean. Like they usually have the laurel leaves or whatever. I don't know what these are. But there's little berries. I don't think these are the typical. Like a king, a sick perverted king in Europe would wear like a crown of some kind with the leaves woven. I think this is a different type of leaf because there's a berry. These are natural elements. The Provincia de Santa Cruz is for me. Look at this. The title of the picture says Gauchos mustering sheep in Patagonia. What is mustering? What is the verb mustering of sheep? And Gauchos, isn't that a racist term? They're still calling you two guys Gauchos. I'm sorry. You can call the white people to anything you want. Gauchos. I don't think they would take you guys Gauchos. They'd come after me and run me down with the horses. Matt, you're prepared. If Notnilc gives us the free zone. I mean, what do you think? You can't just go out to the Burger King. You just can't go to 7-Eleven or order Amazon delivery of groceries online. This is what you're going to have to make your fine. I didn't say I'm not willing to work hard if we get Notnilc free zone. Give us thousands of sheep. I'll shear the sons of bitches. I'll take care of it myself. Okay, guys, one of the downsides is what you're looking at here. These tourist trains come into this area. There's a lot of tourists that come and go from this general Patagonia area. And no matter where our Notnilc free zone is, we probably are going to encounter these tourists coming in on the tourist trains. It's like the East Stroudsburg Railroad up where Gary lives to go see the damn Amish. I don't know when the last time you saw the Harrison Ford movie Witness was, but I don't want to be the Amish of Patagonia with these tourists coming down trying to stick ice cream cones in our face. Remember what happened in Witness? Because they don't fight back? The townie or the tourist took the damn vanilla ice cream cone and wiped it right across the guy's face. And then Book fought back. He says, Book, that is not our way. He says, it's my way. I fight back. I'm not really. The tourists will come to gawk at us and say, these are these conspiracy sons of bitches that the world government set up on 1,000 acres. Let's go gawk at them. But we do fight back. Don't put an ice cream cone in our face. Get in your tourist train and go back to Washington, D.C. Here is a picture of Punta Arenas. Boy, what a butchering of the words. It's Chile. It's the largest southernmost city. before you take a direct line to Antarctica? Or if you're a splat turf researcher, you can go out and see you might want to come down and live with us because you can just go out and see the ice wall and try to get to the lands on the other side of the ice wall. See, Chile actually owns all that horse shit going all the way down towards Antarctica, at least as it's depicted on the map. I don't mean to upset any splat turfers. They're trying to tell me right now that the map is not an accurate depiction of what really exists in terms of the land masses out there. And that wouldn't be the first time I ever heard that. Either way, look, there's snow on the roof and shit. It's close to Antarctica. It looks like it's cold, man. I still would possibly live there if we could make an arrangement. I bet the Notnilc has very little influence down in Punta Arenas. Hopefully the place doesn't even have Wi-Fi. Guys, on several other of our Notnilc travel tours, we got screwed with, say, ancillary or sidebar sojourns. Like we got screwed trying to get the camel rides. I ain't paying no $500 for no camel ride, and you don't get no camel ride. We're getting screwed here as well. I thought we could take a nice boat ride down so the splat turfers could see the ice wall and the lands we can't get to. There's a lot of boats and cruises from the southern part of Chile to the ice wall, to Antarctica, but I'm not really liking the price. The whole trip for Notnilc Travel Tours, as usual, is $666.66. I thought we could do this on the side. It's an additional $10,134, and maybe only, I don't know, 3 or 4 of us here have that. 17 extra nights we could do on the ship. Patagonia southbound, $10,134. To see what? To see the people trying to see the lands beyond. This is full of splat turfers. For $10,000, you get to see a few Antarctic penguins? What a waste of money. Here's another vendor or cruise operator that I found. I searched the website. There are no prices. Top right, you have to request a quote. I have to request a quote? Just list your damn prices. You call in and say, sir, if you're asking about price right off the bat, I don't think this cruise is for you, sir. Now hang up and clear the line because customers with real money are calling in. Request a quote. Well, just list your prices. If you have to adjust them once a month for the price of diesel fuel, adjust the price. Swoop Patagonia. How to get to Antarctica from Ushuaia. Is that one of those land masses that Oceania was fighting in 1984? The Ingsoc was fighting? I think that if we go down there, 1984 is playing out. That's one of the land masses, I swear, that was being fought by Ingsoc. Antarctic cruises set sail from Patagonia's southernmost towns. So for Patagonia visitors who have the time and budget, that's the problem, isn't it? A voyage to the Great White Continent, that's freaking racist, is not to be missed. Antarctica is one of the last truly wild places on Earth, and sailing through its ice-packed waters is once-in-a-lifetime experience. Guys, I'm sorry if anybody listening to me has done it. I think it is the biggest waste of money and time in the entire world. And I know I do this often, but this is truly a quote that needs to happen right now. There ain't nothing down there, Lieutenant. There's nothing there but penguins and some ice. I could do that in my back. I could just get a stuffed penguin and go in my backyard in January. There's nothing there. You know why people go there, in my opinion? To say they went. It's almost like a notch in the belt. To me, filling up the bathtub and dunking your head in a bunch of ice, you pour ice in the bathtub in January, would be actually a much better use of my time and money. Look at this. Our sister company, Swoop Antarctica, specializes in providing a variety of Antarctic adventures. What adventure? Oh, the person's doing a backflip. They're so happy they can do another notch on their belt in the cocktail party and say, I've been to Antarctica. And this does not dispel what the conspiracy people say about Antarctica. You know where the tourists go to Antarctica? They take them to 1/2 of 1/2 of 1%. They take them to the same little place. I'm not in any way running down the splat turfers. There could be the lands beyond and the ice wall. They only take the tourists to one little place. And the tourists say, well, I've been there, these conspiracy people. You've been to 1/2 of 1/2 of 1%. So maybe you can't see the fence where they keep you in the pen. They take the tourists to the same place, I'm sure. The same penguins see the same people time after time. They're becoming tame like dogs. You can come up and pet the penguins on the head. Antarctic expedition operations, where they can help you narrow down your options and decide where and when to visit, to see specific wildlife and parts of the region. What wildlife? There's a penguin. Okay, they go into the water and they eat fish. There doesn't have to be no grass that grows, or they don't eat grass like Canadian geese. You're not going to be able to see the wildlife under the water. You were supposed to wait out there for 20 or 30 hours for a whale to surface and blow that shit out of its blowhole. There's nothing to see. Look at this. After you pay your $15,000, this is the boat. And look at all the tourists there packed into the little rafts, their little blow-up rafts. And they got to all wear the same thing. We don't want anybody to get lost out here. You wear this waterproof orange jacket. I don't want to wear this. It smells. Why does it smell? It's just like in The Patriots, had a dead man. Remember Mel Gibson said to the French guy, it's had a dead man in it. You got to wear this. We don't want anybody to get lost. And as a tracking device, look where they're going to take them. They're going to take them to that barren land. And many people even listening to this don't really realize Antarctica is not just this big thing of ice. It's a landmass. But there ain't a blade of grass. It's just dirt and rock. And then there's some ice. So the husband finally says to the wife, we paid $20,000 just to push some dirt around here, kick some rocks, and see some ice? This is a waste of money. Most people won't say that because they're invested in it, and they'll claim it's the greatest thing of all time when they get back and talk to their friends, and they'll post it on Facebook and try to make other people envious because they're just not confident enough to say, this tour sucks. Okay, this is what I'm talking about right here. This picture says it all. Just a notch on the belt for the super rich. Say, I was there. We went to Antarctica last year. There's a series of hot tubs on the back of the boat and a heated pool. A person's in the hot tub. They're not even looking around at Antarctica. They're not even looking for a little penguin with a broken wing. The person's reading a book in the hot tub. It's just a notch on the belt. When can we get home? Go back to New York and we can go back to our favorite restaurant. You're in a hot tub. Experience the cold, the ice. Experience it, honey. Get out, y'all. That's a 104-degree hot tub, and she's reading a book. This is all you need to see, folks. Oh no, I knew this would be coming sooner or later. Indigenous peoples, actually called Patagonians, I'm sure just like all the others, screwed over by the colonials, screwed over by the Peter Stuyvesants and the Magellans of the world. You can't see underneath, it says something like local or indigenous Patagonians around or near the Strait of Magellan. I'm not sure. It was painted in the early 1800s or mid 1800s. I'm not sure if it's supposed to depict Patagonians of that era or as they appeared to Magellan as he screwed them over sailing through his straits. But as usual, is anybody surprised? Look, I don't know how deep we're going to get into this, but there will be a similar theme as there always is. Local indigenous people will be screwed over by the colonials and by progress. It happens the same way every single time in the Notnilc script. Oh no. All I can tell you is I hadn't looked ahead. I didn't know what was coming, but we knew exactly what was coming. We do this together. First thing I click on, the Selknam genocide. The Selknam, if I'm pronouncing that, was a systematic extermination. Patagonian indigenous peoples, including groups like the Selknam and Moop, suffered a catastrophic decline due to colonial expansion and state-sponsored violence in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This included genocidal campaigns like Argentina's conquest of the desert. There's nothing out there, Lieutenant. Yeah, there. Yes, the Notnilc craves blood. Yeah, forced displacement, enslavement, massacres, and forced integration into Christian missions. Same theme. Leading to decimation of populations, loss of culture and language, and a forced assimilation, like the Borg, into the dominant society. While these events devastated their societies, contemporary indigenous communities are actively working to reclaim their histories and challenge the historical narratives, as they all do, as they all need to. Yeah, it just makes sense to your cousin or your friend down the road that every single indigenous population in the world suffered an American Indian-style Wounded Knee massacre, or their own version of the Trail of Tears, or what happened to the indigenous on the island of Tasmania or the Aborigines of Australia. Just throw a dart and have it hit any indigenous population going back to about 1400, and you'll see the exact same thing play out. And people like us step up and say, there's an evil here. There's an organized evil here. There's no possible way every single indigenous population, not just screwed over, not just given their own reservation with not a blade of grass and a broken Pepsi machine, slaughtered, massacred, almost in every single case, sometimes for a longer period than others. This couldn't possibly have happened every single time in the exact same way if there wasn't an organized evil here. But we're just one of those people. Oh, man, this is just all normal. That's what they did back then. Why you guys got to be all conspiracy and stuff? Oh, boy. At least we have each other. And we'll do a single case study of one Patagonian indigenous group that was screwed over by the colonial West. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name out of respect for these good people. But I will ask you in the Amish classroom, I'll ask you to answer this question. Anybody that gets it right gets one of my cupcakes that you can have at lunch. Out of all the different colonial powers, who do you think was the first colonial power to start screwing over the Patagonian indigenous people? Anybody? No, the old guard can't answer. You know, go back to clearing fields. Those spitballers in the back, people in the middle of the class. Who do you think was, don't try to overthink it, who's typically the colonial power that comes in to screw over the indigenous first and starts killing them off? Come on, you know, they know. That's right. The Spanish. It's always the Spanish in there to screw them over and kill them off first. On the 31st of March, 1520, the Spanish expedition under the command of that's not Magellan. Ferdinando de Magallanes. That was Magellan. Well, no, he did the Strait. Some other sons of bitches had to come first. They landed in San Julian Bay. I'm sure the indigenous named it that. They renamed everything. They destroyed the culture and the history. They landed in the San Julian Bay to spend the winter there. Here, they made contact with the name I will not pronounce out of respect, indigenous groups, who they referred to as Patagones, as told by the scribe. Antonio Pigafetta was a pig. Pigafetta. Pigafetta described these people as a mythical tribe of Patagonian giants, and they were named Patagonians, literally like mocked because they had big feet or they wrapped their feet in a certain way that made the feet look big. That relates to the name Patagonian, which the colonial devils and the monsters like Magellan placed on them. And just a few clicks later after that segment, we do this together. I come across this picture of pure evil. Look at the character in the top hat, top left. Some sort of demon creature looking over who he just bought or who he's going to display at the World Fair. Look at that demon back there. I'll go back to the larger picture in just a moment, guys. But let's just say the, quote, minorities here in the United States, in Canada, those still called minorities, you know what they do? They blame skin color. They'll blame me. It has nothing to do with skin color. It's what's called Notnilc. Spend a few weeks at this channel. You know, a Christian calls it Satan. It has something to do with skin color. I got to pay some sort of reparations. It has nothing to do with skin color. It's those that serve the frequency of evil in this world and going back hundreds of years always have, and those that reject it and are here for them. Worry about your spiritual journey. Worry about yourself. To reject the disgusting power influence of this plane called Earth. It has nothing to do with skin color. Let's go back to the close-up picture one more time. Oh, Matt, yeah, you're holier than thou. You can't escape your skin, Matt. That's probably your great-grandfather in the picture right there. If you were alive during that time, Matt, and that was your great-grandfather, and you're some little kid standing next to him in your black top hat, in your black suit with your tails, you'd be laughing and smirking right along with him. You can't escape your skin, Matt. It makes you what you are. It makes you evil. You'd be working with your great-grandfather trying to pawn these people off at your World's Fairs. Pay your nickel, pay your nickel. Come see these Patagonian poor devils we brought in here from the tip of South America. Pay your nickel, pay your nickel. You can't escape your skin, Matt. Oh, it's not. No, it's frequency. No, Matt. You got a lot of owning up to do for your skin color, Matt, and you're gonna pay reparations just like everybody else. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm coming around. It's totally skin color driven. It has nothing to do with the frequency of this world that you align yourself with. I take it back, and I'm willing to pay reparations. Guys, one more depressing segment. I'm sorry if this is turning into a bit of a downer. I'll lift everybody's spirits in just a moment. The Notnilc does this. We do Notnilc Travel Tours. We come upon an indigenous population, and guess what the Notnilc, through its colonial powers, have done to them over the years? It's Notnilc that has done this. Okay, I'm sorry to be a downer. Just a few more things here. Okay, well, I know when you pay your $666.66 for Notnilc Travel Tours, you expect to have fun, and mostly we do have fun. But this is another picture of the same group of indigenous. And you know what I'm thinking as I'm going through these pictures and I'm doing segments of this video? I'm thinking of all the groups in all the world that literally aren't doing anything to anyone, are literally just minding their own business. have no technology or ships or armies or fleets that can compete against the colonial powers or the technology of the day. Of all the groups that literally aren't bothering anyone, it's these groups, no matter what area of the world the Notnilc is infiltrating them or invading them or slaughtering them or sending them on their own little version of the Trail of Tears. And no matter how many real spirits or real people were affected over the centuries, as we study reality and look at it closely, it's always the same duality. It's like the same dichotomy. Here it goes again. Again, a group with no technology that isn't bothering anyone. I know I just said it. Yeah, Dad, you told us. That just won't ever bother anyone, just will subsist. And then you have the leading technology of the day, of the centuries through these colonial powers. I cut a big section of that out. I'll just wrap it up here. I'm re-recording this segment. I'm sure when we do Notnilc Travel Tours 4, 5, 6 weeks from now, and we find there's an indigenous population with roots that go back thousands of years, we'll see the exact same story playing out over and over again. And, you could say, well, the colonial powers, whatever they are, whatever entity they are, they're following the download of this world, just like the current power structure and the Henry Kissingers and whatever the sequential incarnation is, follows the download of this world. No doubt the colonial powers and the Notnilc's kings and its queens followed the Notnilc download. But in a way, and I hate saying this, I don't want to be in any way disrespectful to these people, but it's like the Indigenous are following the script of this reality as well. You know what I'm saying? They're the victims, Matt. They didn't ask for this. I know. I don't know how to get this out and not be disrespectful. But, and then, of course, then I say, is everybody, I didn't mean to turn a Notnilc Travel Tours into a giant reality discussion. Is everybody following the script? Is our pursuit of the secrets of this world, the conspiracy, the hidden, the esoteric of this world, our pursuit of what we're not supposed to look into, is that us following the script? I will struggle with this for a long time. I think at some point I'll get my hands wrapped around it, and I'll say, like I've been saying a lot recently, at least if we're being manipulated in our group, we have at least a slight advantage because we're aware of this possibility. No, I sat here for a few minutes and I re-recorded a few things, and no, it's going to have to end on a depressing note. I thought we could return to the laughs, but once you come across the mass slaughter and genocide, once again, of indigenous people, am I supposed to say, okay, let's just get back to the laughs, folks? It's not going to work. Notnilc does this every time. We come across the indigenous story, and it's the same disgusting, oh, God. So it's going to, I'm sorry, it's going to end on a downer, and we'll end with this picture. And a personal note between me and you, and a reminder to you and I, something we need to remember. I assume, especially these indigenous people, were, of course, the same as you and me, real spiritual beings, whoever or whatever their gods or goddesses happen to be. And we need to remind ourselves, just looking at some of these pictures, we tend to forget. I mean, life for our ancestors or those that came before us was hard. Matt, you're going to give us this lecture once a month? Yeah, I am. We need to stop complaining. I mean, life was tough, boy. Look at these people on the plains of Patagonia. Oh, you step on a nail or whatever is out there, or a piece of quartz that's shaped like a nail and it goes up through your foot. Oh, my bad, sorry. No doctor. No, we'll get the old medicine man to cut it out. Life was hard, man, hard. They ain't got no Pepto-Bismol. They ain't got no Rolaids. They ain't got no aspirin. It was. Let's try to keep this in mind, folks. The next time we just want to complain about something, oh God, they're not serving the pepperoni pizza again. I told them I want pepperoni when I come in here. I don't have to wait. They got to put the pepperoni on special and bake me a pizza. I told them I want the pepperoni when I come in here. We need to stop complaining. This, whether it be the 2020 and See the V, or even the big event in 2001 in the month of September, this stuff's nothing compared to what our ancestors were put through, whether the Notnilc was getting up in their business or they were just trying to survive on their own. Let's try to keep that in mind. Makes our life seem a little bit better. We need to stop complaining. Thanks, Notnilc Travel Tourists, and because of listening to my lecture about Stop Complaining, I'll be refunding $66.66 to each of you. And there's still no charter flight from Australia. You get yourself to New York for our charter flight down to South America. I ain't catering to you Australians no more. Thanks for listening.